Alright, welcome to the first video of this channel. I haven't named it yet actually, I'm just making the video before the channel's out. This channel will be mostly based around projects I'm doing and just stuff, mostly cool stuff as well. But in today's video we will be discussing rocket engines, because I am currently thinking about making one. I'm going to draw a diagram of what I'm doing, and yeah. Okay, so part one. For my purposes, I'm going to be using potassium nitrate and sugar, because that's like the only thing I can get my hands on right now. So yeah, potassium nitrate, when it's being lit up, it burns pretty fast and releases a lot of gas, which is pretty good. It also is really hot. Yeah, so okay, let's draw a diagram here. We have a little tube here. Alright, now this here, the purple stuff, this is the potassium nitrate and sugar mixed together and put up against the walls of the tube. Of course, this is like a cylinder, kind of like this piece of tape right here, round, and it has a hole in the middle, but on the outside it's got potassium nitrate and sugar. Now, when we light this potassium nitrate and sugar up, it burns a lot. All of this here burns. And it builds up a lot of pressure inside. Okay, this is red stuff, it's high pressure. Now this thing, if I close this off and lit it, it would probably explode, especially if I did this in like PVC pipe or something. So you want to make a hole at the end. Now this hole here, I'll make a hole right here, about the size of the hollow part inside the tube. Out here is low pressure, which is green. Make it green. Well, not low pressure, but it's low pressure compared to the high pressure, of course. Now, all this high pressure wants to go somewhere. It's very compressed, and compression is not really a good thing. So what it's going to do is take all this pressure in here and shoot it out to the high pressure. And that's gonna make thrusts. It's gonna want to move forward because it's moving stuff out. It's gonna move forward. Thanks, Newton, for that. That's a very good invention. So yeah, that's the basis of rocket engines. Now, I'll turn this over. There's a few ways of doing this, of course. There's liquid fuel engines, solid fuel engines, and what's the other one? Well, the mix in between is called a hybrid rocket engine. So liquid fuel consists of I haven't really built a liquid fuel rocket engine yet, so I'm just going to take a guess of what it does. We have two tubes and an exit here. So here we've got, is this in frame? Just a minute. I'm guessing it's in frame. Here we've got a mix of air and maybe some, oxygen and some sort of fuel, like maybe hydrogen. We'll do hydrogen. Don't really know how to spell that, that's my guess. Now these two together, very explosive. Usually not something you want to mess with. Anyway, there's a tube here from the two tanks, hydrogen and oxygen. They go into this, down here, this tube, into a combustion chamber, which mixes them up, and then they exit and then, because there's a high pressure in here, because the two tanks are very compressed, so these two tanks are very compressed, and they want to release all the air and all the compression into a lower compressed area, which is here. They mix, and then they get lit here. Now, because there's a lot of pressure in here, this gas is going to want to flow out. let me just get a different pen. It's going to want to flow out. Now if you light this while it's coming out, you will get a lot of thrust because it's expanding. Now, solid fuel rocket engines are what I will be doing. They, like on the diagram before, right here, they consist of a tube. Well, it doesn't really have to be a tube, but I'm going to be using a tube. And an exit here. And then it will have a lot of solid fuel on the side here. You can see it here. There'll be a hole in the middle and probably some solid fuel at the end here, of course. The reason there's a hole in the middle is because when you burn it, it will burn all on the inside here. Right here, burn on the inside, and it will move out. This way you will get a lot more thrust than just like a slow burn, just like a slow burn like this. Of course this way of course will just burn slower, which is usually bad because that won't leave enough thrust for the rocket to actually move. In this case here, it will burn out, and there's a lot more surface area that will burn up and create a lot more thrust. Now we'll get to hybrids. Hybrids, I'll probably be building one of these one day once I've got this sorted out. Hybrids are interesting, very interesting. So it consists the same as solid fuel. Right, we have some fuel on that, like a tube and some fuel. Usually this here candle wax is pretty good for this. And then you have an oxidizer up here. We'll just use oxygen again. Now this oxygen will be fed in here. And as it comes through, so here in this one, in the solid fuel, we'll have an oxidizer, which is the potassium nitrate, with mixed with the sugar, which, you know, it leaves, it's the oxidizer and the fuel mixed together, so you have like less, you have less fuel space kind of thing, you know, in this case, you have just fuel here, no oxidizer, fuel here, and then you have another separate tank with oxygen. Maybe liquid oxygen could be pretty good, or I'm pretty sure you can use nitrous as well. Stuff they use in cars. Anyway, this gets fed down here, which is this high pressure again, a lot of high pressure. They get shot down here, fills up this whole tank with oxygen, and then comes out the end. Right, now this leaves a little amount of thrust, but once you light this, it's going to burn all of this here, which is candle wax, which if you light up a candle, you can see the amount of wax is left behind. Like, usually turns into liquid, but if you burn up like hot enough, it actually expands a lot, and it also becomes like highly explosive. That's why candle wax is pretty good. Yep, and this is a very actually interesting way. It doesn't get used a lot, but for these you can't stop them once they're going. These will burn until all the fuel's gone. In this case here, you can actually control the amount of oxygen that comes through, and limit the amount of thrust, or you could even stop it, because this candle wax relies on oxygen to burn. Here it's got the oxidizer in the fuel, so it will just burn. And in this case it's the exact same as this, just it doesn't have any solid fuel, it's just hydrogen and oxygen. And that's the basis of solid fueled, liquid fueled and hybrid rocket engines.